Former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg says the future belongs to cities. That is because a combination of factors is raising the importance of cities even against nations themselves. First, their wealth and populations continue to grow faster than the rest of the country. Second, national boundaries are getting more and more blurred, whether it's because of reduced tariffs, more foreign investment, and increased travel and migration, whether for work or for good. We may be on our way to a time when we identify as much with our cities as our nations, and a time when a city's infra, services, and government matter as much to an investor as a nation's, which is what makes the National Competitiveness Council's Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Index so important, as a means not just to rank cities against each other, but to offer them a criteria they can try to do better and better in order to attract talent and investment. Unsurprisingly, Makati ranked #1 in the latest survey, followed by Cagayan de Oro. In third was the much smaller Naga, led for years by the late Jesse Robredo, but it was #1 in government efficiency and #4 in something called economic dynamism. With us tonight is Bill Luz of the National Competitiveness Council, and later in the program, the Mayor of Naga, John Bongat. Bill, thank you very much for joining us. Naga has always ranked relatively high in these surveys. It's ranked higher this year. What do you think spelled the difference this year?
What spelled the difference this year is the ranking of Naga in government efficiency. We actually ranked #1 among the more than 130 cities ranked by the National Competitive Council of the Philippines.
There's a whole slew, maybe about a dozen of items under government efficiency. Let's just talk about a couple of them. Transparency scores. Why do you think you might have scored high when it comes to transparency?
You'll recall, Coco, that Naga actually pioneered in transparency initiatives. During the time of Secretary Robredo as mayor of Naga, the People Empowerment Ordinance of the City of Naga was passed into an ordinance, and it actually encouraged the participation of the people in everything that we in the government do, in the local government. So for a long time, we have been very transparent, and we believe that we will be more effective and efficient as government officials if we consult with the people in our decision-making processes.
You were telling me that they're organized so that they have a representative in every body and in every agency and every body, and they sit in on meetings. They may not vote, but they're in the meetings. Right?
Yeah, that's right, Coco. Actually, they can vote.
Okay.
They can vote. They're part of the quorum. So everything that we do inside City Hall is actually known to them, who represent the different interest groups and different sectors of the city or the community.
They vote in these, I guess, these bodies that are created. Obviously, not in the city council, right?
Even in the city council, the standing committees of the city council, they are also represented.
Okay.
So their ideas, their views about a lot of things that affect their interests and the general public in general.
So everywhere but the plenary, they can vote in the committees?
Everywhere, except the plenary.
Okay.
But because of this tradition, again, Naga pioneered in the so-called Citizens Charter in 2002. And we have been practicing the performance pledges. And of course, we owe that to the former mayor of the city of Naga. And during my time, when I became mayor of Naga in 2010, I improved on many of these transparency initiatives that have been institutionalized in the way we run the local government.
Do all the politicians accept this, that there are, in effect, unelected people who also vote in these committees?
Well, I don't know of a lot of local governments that also share the same view as ours and allow people participation in the decision-making processes. But I know that Quezon City is trying to do to develop a similar citizens council. Right now, they have a citizens council that can actually participate in deciding on a certain portion of the budget of the Quezon City government.
You're in your second term as mayor, and you were a councilor before that. Could you think of a good example of where this kind of citizen participation spelled a lot of difference, made a lot of difference?
Well, a very recent example is when I, as mayor of Naga, tried to convince the city council to entertain the possibility of introducing a new mode of transportation within the city, which we call as taxical. It is a combination of a tricycle and a taxi. It can accommodate more people, and there's this debate between the trimobile groups. We call trimobile tricycles in Naga as trimobiles. And but there is this overwhelming support from the general public, the riding public, that they want this kind of new mode of transportation. And just last week, the city council passed actually an ordinance that allowed this new mode of transportation within the streets of the city of Naga.
And civilian representation made a difference there?
Yes, particularly the group of the riding public.
Now, one of the things that Bill's group really focuses on is the speed in which a new company or a new business can register itself, get all its paperwork done, and then start to do business. That's also under government efficiency. So presumably you did well there as well in business registration efficiency. What kind of changes have you made there in your term and in the previous term that have made this a fast process?
Okay, during the previous term, pertaining to the term of the late Secretary Robredo, he actually succeeded in reducing the number of steps. For example, in procuring a business permit or a mayor's permit from 8 to 5. And during my term, I tried to reduce it from 5 to 3. I actually issued 2 executive orders. One that institutionalized the business one-stop shop, although it was already being practiced during the time of the former mayor, Secretary Jess Robredo. But we tried to improve on the ICT part of it, meaning the software and everything, in order to make things a lot faster and to be able to not to pass through certain steps. By merely creating a composite group that will inspect existing businesses, so that during renewal, such a step will already be dispensed with. And it will not also be a burden on the part of the businessman to be visited every now and then by different agencies, when they can actually group themselves together and have a one-time visit, so that come January of the succeeding year, that particular step will no longer be required.
Yeah.
Only a certification that they have already gone through such one-time inspection by this joint inspection team comprised of national government agencies and the different concerned offices of the local government.
Now, I know that Naga is one of those cities, even during Secretary Roberto's time, that was held up as a model. And you had a lot of other local government officials visiting Naga to check out what you're doing well there. What for them in these visits, when you talk to them afterwards, what surprises them the most? What inspires them the most among the changes that Naga has put in place? Well,
one of the what I can say as outstanding features of governance of Naga is the simplicity of the leaders of Naga. We believe in the city that we should lead by example, and we should listen to the people for us to be able to make better decisions. And that has further been enhanced because of social media. When I became mayor of Naga in 2011, we actually created this Facebook page called Naga Smiles to the World. And it has now developed and evolved into a very effective medium of interaction between us, the governors, and the community. So we receive lots of comments, suggestions, whether positive or negative, and all of this interaction has actually led to better ordinances and legislations and swift responses. So it actually made us more responsive to the needs of our constituents.
I've seen that page, and sometimes some resident or citizen will comment, and I see you immediately answer. Sometimes you say, I've seen you say once that I don't have the answer yet, but let me get back to you.
Yes,
so at least I
I
get
do
an
that.
immediate response.
Yeah, I think what's important is the people will feel that they're acknowledged for ideas that they want to get through to the mayor, to the vice mayor, to the councilors. You know, it gives them a feeling of belongingness because one of the major features of good governance that the city of Naga has been seen as a model in the country is not only transparency but inclusivity. So when I acknowledge, for example, Coco, your text message or your PM or your message in the wall of the page, and we say that we will do something about it, or we will get back to you shortly, or if we are ready with the answer, we already asked the city engineer's office, for example, to visit your place, or the police to immediately do something about your grievance, and so on and so forth. So it actually strengthens the bond between the governor and the governed, and they feel included. And every step of the way that we make all of these decisions, they feel that they are part of it, and they become prouder as Nagueños and Nagueñas.
In terms of government efficiency, Naga went from number 5 to number 1, 2013, 2014. Economic dynamism, you were not ranked last year. Now you're ranked number 4. One of the items there is the capacity to generate employment. You were telling me that one of the areas you're doing that now is in BPOs. Has that been a challenge?
Yeah, actually that has been a very big challenge because way back 2011, the city of Naga was not even included as one of those to be considered as next wave city in terms of ICT and BPO. But because of our continuing efforts to attract investors in the field of business process outsourcing, and we have been quite successful in enticing one brand, and the 2 others followed after that. So in barely 3 years or 2 years since 2012, when the city of Naga was actually declared as one of the top 10 next wave cities in the Philippines, then we were put, so to speak, on the radar screen of these BPO investors.
Now, in one area, infrastructure, that area you actually did quite poorly this year. You did better last year, poorly this year. I'm not sure how that happens. But when we were talking earlier, you said that one of the criteria there is the distance between the city center and the airport and the seaport, and that's quite far relatively for Naga. But you are working with the national government on improving the airport, right?
Yes, actually, certain different sectors in the community, both government and private, including the academe, the business sector, we in the city of Naga, the Metro Naga Development Council, which I happen to chair, it is comprised of 15 municipalities and the city of Naga, and also Congresswoman Lenny Robredo, our congressman for our district, are actually joining forces, including the provincial government of Camarines Sur, to do something about our airport. We have actually proposed to the national government, in particular to the DOTC, to study the possibility of reorienting the runway so that the runway of the airport may be able to accommodate bigger planes and therefore bigger passenger traffic.
So a longer runway. You mentioned a while ago simplicity. Does that mean nagchichinelas din kayo when you walk around Naga, or that's just Secretary Jess?
No, that's Secretary Jess. Although, of course, if there's a typhoon, I have to be in, a typhoon attire. I am usually in rubber shoes. So I'm not in this attire. I'm only in this attire because of your program. So I think the people of Naga have been so used to city officials who are physically approachable, because if you are very formal, then it gives them a sense of it gives them a sense of
Distance.
Distance. Yeah.
Mayor John Bongat, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Coco.
We'll take a very short break. More Inside Business when we come back. Stay with us.